Artificial intelligence is advancing faster than any technology we've ever seen, and the companies that manage their AI strategy well will define the next decade. Microsoft is at the center of this transformation. Hi everybody, we're Group 2. My name is Kannal Çeji. Today I'll be presenting our recommendation on how Microsoft can strengthen its AI positions by streamlining and consolidating its investments. To be clear from the start, our recommendation is that Microsoft should consolidate their AI investments and focus future spendings on OpenAI and Azure, their two flagship AI assets. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through Microsoft's current investments, the challenge they are facing with the federal investigation, our recommendation, its advantages, disadvantages, and our rebuttal to a common counter agreement. Here is the structure of our presentation. We begin with a recent AI investments, review ongoing investigation, present our recommendation, outline advantages, explain disadvantages, and finish with a counter agreement and rebuttal. Microsoft has attempted to place itself the forefront of what has been called the second AI boom. Since 2019, Microsoft has been the largest outside investors in OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, with an initial committed investment of $1 billion in 2019. This was expanded in January 2023 with their commitment of an additional $10 billion. As of 2025, they have committed a total approximately $14 billion in the company and hold 27% ownership stake in OpenAI. Microsoft has also invested heavily in its flagship AI product, Microsoft Azure, which officially launched in November 2021. To date, Microsoft investment in Azure have exceeded the $100 billion mark. Furthermore, they have allocated $30 billion for investments in Azure in the first quarter of 2026 alone. However, beyond these two major investments, Louis Strita knows 27 major investments by Microsoft in AI startups since 2022. This graphic shows the various strategic investments made by Microsoft in AI since 2022. Note that while you can see the most significant investments are with OpenAI, Microsoft has attempted to place itself in a wide range of AI. Investments such as hardware, diagnostics, data processing, security, and many more. Overall, Microsoft has committed $80 billion to AI development in 2021 with big hopes for a significant payoff. Their wide-ranging investments have already started to pay dividends, with revenue from their Azure platform surpassing $75 billion for the first time in third quarter of 2025. While this certainly provides cause for optimism about future revenues resulting from AI, this optimism is contingent on the fact that they are able to continue conducting business in the same way that they are currently. Since 2020, there have been several notable antitrust cases launched by the Federal Trade Commission, which is FTC. Apple, Meta, Google, and Amazon have been targets for these probes. In 2024 November, the FTC announced a wide-ranging probe into Microsoft to investigate potential antitrust violations. If the results of the FTC probe find that Microsoft has indeed violated antitrust laws, the consequences could be dire for the company. Possible outcomes could include steep financial penalties, forced divestiture, restriction on future business practices, and even long-term federal oversights. Any single one of these consequences has the potential to greatly undermine the process that Microsoft has made in establishing themselves at the forefront of the AI industry. To meet the challenge of continuing as a leader in the AI industry while balancing their ongoing FTC investigation, Strategic Project Management is recommending a consolidation of AI investments to Microsoft. We will show that Microsoft will be better off by simply focusing on its existing investments of OpenAI and Azure instead of continuing to diversify. Our recommendation provides several advantages such as a decrease in pressure from federal regulatory bodies, increased brand association between Microsoft and subsidiaries, and a more unified strategy for moving forward in the AI industry. We will acknowledge the minimal risk associated with this recommendation, such as risk of outside competition and reduced bargaining power, but these are far outweighed by the advantages. Now let's explore the advantages in a little more detail. Our first reason for this recommendation is that it will decrease regulatory oversights. One of the issues that Microsoft has faced lawsuits are due to its widespread investments in various companies and thus investigations by the Federal Trade Commissions. Companies who are perceived by the general public and investigators to be cooperating generally experience less severe penalties or even escape being penalized altogether. Given that one of the recommendations of these investigations may be to break up these large partnerships, Microsoft will benefit by proactively divesting from some of their small AI investments to minimize the perception of an AI monopoly. Beyond regulatory and legal considerations, we must also think about the overall Microsoft brand. Our second reason for our recommendation is that the diversification of AI investments leads to many not knowing Microsoft's significant involvement in the advancement of AI technology. As noted previously, Microsoft has significant investments in its flagship AI products, Microsoft Azure and OpenAI. These are widely known products and have significant brand association with Microsoft. These other minor AI investments do not bring as much brand association with Microsoft, thus minimizing the impact for Microsoft as a leader in this field. Our recommendation of divesting and streamlining investments by Microsoft will lead to another advantage for the company. The final advantage of adopting our recommendation will be increased uniformity in strategy towards the future of AI. Currently, Microsoft owns small, non-controlling interests in many separate AI companies. This means less control over future initiatives. By focusing on OpenAI and Azure, where their total stake in the company is relatively larger, they will have much more ability to tailor future developments to their needs as a tech giant and be the leader in this industry. While we have highlighted several advantages of our recommendations to streamline investments, we must acknowledge some drawbacks. An argument against Microsoft consolidation its investments in AI sector may be that it minimized Microsoft's ability to capitalize on advancements in AI that were not made to be either Azure or OpenAI. However, with increasing revenue generated from Azure and OpenAI, Microsoft positioned itself to garner the greatest return on investments from these two specific invaders. These investments in the several minor companies can be converged into two investments, ChatGPT and their own products, which have the greatest recognition and payoff so far. Thus again, we recommend that Microsoft consolidate AI investments, focusing primarily on investments in OpenAI and Azure, while seizing investments in other companies within the industry. This decreases the risk of litigation while increasing their recognition as a leader in AI advancements and streamlining strategic goals. So let's continue to advance the world of AI and make Microsoft synonymous with the industry. In summary, consolidating Microsoft AI investments into OpenAI and Azure reduces regulatory risk, strengthens brand, and creates a clear long-term strategy for AI development. This focused approach positions Microsoft to lead the industry moving forward. We encourage to read our full recommendation report that has even more details, but please be sure to reach out to us within the next 5 business days with your decision. Thank you so much, and we're happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.